something nice and earthy to ground you into your body. So when the moon's in Capricorn, we usually get really productive and we like want to get stuff done. Usually, right? We get kind of goal oriented for some of us. So begin by closing your eyes, dropping into the practice. So we're working this month on mobility and strengthening whatever part of the body you guys are choosing. And most people said shoulder mobility or hip mobility. And then some of you said kind of emotional, mental kind of balance. So we're going to work all of those things throughout this month. So taking a moment to feel into where you fall in balance in this moment. So sometimes we notice that we're more mental than physical, or vice versa. There might be an energetic imbalance that you notice, such as I've overdone it today and I'm a little tired. There could be an emotional imbalance where you feel one emotion way more than another. So whatever way that imbalance is showing up, welcome that as a way to play around with the ways in which we are finding balance and that we're negotiating balance and learning from the imbalance. That really is where we learn, right? When we fall out of balance in any place in our life, it's where we have the opportunity to learn something new. So deepen your breath. So we're going to do a certain breath practice in which we're going to start with alternate nostril and we're going to add some retentions in it. So you're going to breathe in for 3, you're going to hold for 12, and you're out for 6. Okay, so you breathe in for 3, you hold for 12, and then you're out, breathing out for 6. And we're doing this with alternate nostril breath work. So I'll guide you through it. So take your hand, index and middle finger at the third eye. There's your thumb and your ring finger, pinky finger that you're using, okay? So plug your right side, breathe in your left for 3, 2, 1. Plug and hold for 12. Out for 6. Out the right. In the right for 3. Breathe all the way down to the root of your spine. As you're holding for 12, imagine that there is a fire at the base of your spine that's purifying these channels of masculine, feminine, right and left. Now, as you breathe out for 6, come up the left side of your body and breathe out the left nostril for 6. Imagine that breath coming out the left side. Now breathe down the left side for 3. Hold at the bottom of your spine for 12. Come up and out the right for 6. Breathe down the right for 3. Hold for 12 and imagine that fire purifying the channels of your body. This also balances the brain, balances your energy. So after your 12, you're going to come up and out the left for 6. Come down the left for 3. Hold at the bottom for 12. Imagine that fire. Just kind of see it in your mind. Breathe out for 6. Out your right. Come up the right side. Breathe in the right side and down for 3. Last cycle. Hold the base for 12. Out the left for 6. Down for 3 as you breathe in, the left. Hold for 12. Out for 6 on the right. And then let your hands go and breathe. Just kind of noticing what you found in that breath work. Might feel a little bit more balanced in your body. You might just feel a shift of energy. Sometimes energy really lifts. Okay, so open your eyes. So we're going to work today with flexion of the shoulders. So this is flexion, arms coming up. Extension, arms going back. And when we work that today, you guys, try not to move the scapula. So we're not moving the shoulder blades forward and back. We're just moving the arm bones. We're going to be working that with rotation. We're also going to be working hip flexion. So this is hip flexion, legs in front. And then hip extension, legs back. So that's quads and glutes, okay? So go ahead and start on your back. Welcome, Dawn. So lie all the way onto your back. So we're going to start with a little bit of active mobility. So you're going to bend the right knee in, extend it out, straight up, and down. Right knee in, out, up, and down. If you need to bend the left knee, you certainly can. I kind of like that because it tends to be a little bit easier for my body. So right knee in, press it out, lift it up, and down. And you can go as slow or as fast as you want. So we're doing hip flexion for this. So just breathing and allowing this front of your hip to wake up. Just keep breathing as you warm up this right side. We'll do 3 more. And then hold that right leg up and just pause for a moment. Hold the back of your right thigh, point and flex or roll the ankle. And you might just kind of turn the thigh in and out of it. Just kind of all the things to kind of deepen into that hamstring stretch. Fully extend the right knee. And then we'll put the right leg down and we'll start into the left leg. So left knee in, extend, straight up and down. So you might be breathing slower than you are moving your leg, and you might slow it down too if that feels like a better pace. So the core is nice and strong. So as I do this active mobility, I don't feel the pelvis moving too terribly much. It's mainly the front of my hip. And so just breathing. It doesn't have to be towards the floor. You can stay at a high diagonal too if that's better for your body. Nice deep breaths. Just kind of imagine shaking the energy of the day out of your legs as we start to warm into the lower centers of energy in the body. It's kind of where things tend to settle, so kind of shaking out anything that you don't really want to settle. Okay, last 2. And then hold it up. Point flex, roll the ankle, all those good things. Turn the thigh in and out. Whatever lets you wake into that front leg. So now we're going to do the shoulders, kind of waking up into shoulder flexion. So we're going to be lifting the hips, and the hips go into extension, arms up, and then hips down, and we're just tapping the hips. So we're not rolling, we're just tapping up and down rhythmically. So the arms go overhead, we reach, and then the palms come down. So this is shoulder flexion. We're keeping the shoulder blades nice and wide. Core is strong. So now we're working hip extension. So this is waking up the back chain of the legs. The legs are doing extension, yet the shoulders are doing flexion. So just rhythmically with your breath. You can go slow if you need to. And now hold the hips up and just move the arms. Now that you get a little bit of extension now as you press the arms down to the floor. And now hold the arms down, hold your bridge. So getting a little bit of active flexion, press your palms into the mat as if you would lift your chest a little higher, but keep the chest from ballooning. So kind of keeping shoulder blades down and feeling your triceps engaged. Take another deep breath in. Another deep breath out. And then just set the hips down, hug the knees in. Stretch that low back. Then go ahead and roll over onto your stomach. So I'm just gonna do it about face and roll all the way onto the stomach. So I'm gonna make a little forehead pillow for my head. So my forehead rests right on my hands. We're just gonna do a little bit more hip extension first with the legs, and then we'll add the arms. So keep your head down, and we're just gonna lift that right leg up and then lower it down. And we're just gonna alternate. So I want you to play with this, and I want you to feel the bottom of your glutes lift the leg. Tone your belly back, but press your pubic bone down. And those are opposite actions. My pubic bone presses down, but my navel presses back. And I'm feeling, again, the base of the glutes, the top of the hamstrings lift the leg. Keep the inner thighs rolling towards the sky. Keep going. So inner thighs don't want to turn out, but keep them facing straight up. Yep, good job, you guys. You can point or flex, whatever you want to do. Just starting to wake up the back chain again. Yeah, good. And then we're gonna let the legs come down. You're gonna press your big toes down. Now we're gonna work on extension of the shoulders. So when you lay down, you're gonna keep your head down. So I just have my forehead slightly down. And if you need like a block or a pillow underneath, go ahead and do that. So we're gonna keep the legs down, even the big toes, the baby toes, and we're gonna lift the arms and we're gonna take them back down. So I'm just lifting and lowering the arms. Now lift the head, and we'll just do the arms. So I'm extending the arms as far back as I can without letting the shoulders round forward. So keep the wrists moving down. Keep the collarbones broad. So we don't want to round the scapula, or we don't want it to retract either. We just want the arm bones to lift back as if someone's grabbing our wrist. 8. Feel those erector spinal muscles strengthening. We'll do 3, 2, and then hold it up, locust pose. So head lifts, arms lift. Let those wrists stretch down. Feel the triceps engage. Feel the glutes and hamstring. And then all the way down and back. Tuck your toes under, press up and back, child's pose. Let your head go. So if you can rest it on the mat, go ahead. And if you want to put a block there or again a blanket, go ahead. Take some nice deep breaths. And then when you're ready, come to all fours, downward facing dog. So we'll do a little Surya Namaskar with a little bit of that flexion and extension, and as well as that circle movement where we're going to come into both and kind of rotate the shoulder. So take a deep breath in and a deep breath out, and then walk your feet to your hands nice and slowly so that you're standing in the top of your mat in forward fold. And just bend the knees, shake the head and neck out. Then when you're ready, bend the knees even further, lengthen through your tailbone, find your heels, find your core, roll slowly up. So we're going to practice with how we lift our hands for Tadasana. So normally I do a lot of side lifting, but today let's lift forward, and then I'm going to practice with you lifting back. So we're going to take the arms forward and up, stand nice and tall, and then we're going to press out and away. So we're going to press out and away as we fold forward. Come to a halfway lift. And we're going to step back to plank pose. And I want you to walk your hands either 1 inch to 4 or 5 inches forward. And Kate, be careful with this one if this bothers the front shoulder. So my wrists are forward of my shoulders, and this is strengthening the front of the shoulder. You can come down to your knees to modify this. So showing you that. My core is strong. I can walk the knees back for a little bit more challenge. We're going to hold for 5. Keep that tailbone to lengthen, pull the front ribs up. 3, 2, and 1. Walk the hands back in, downward facing dog. Lift the right leg up and feel, again, the right leg lifting extension, tap the toes. With the strength of the bottom of the glutes, top of the hamstring, lift the leg. You have 3 more. One more. Come forward, low lunge. So go ahead and lift the top knee or the back knee up. I'm going to put a block under my hand. My right arm is going to come forward. And then I'm going to make a big circle. I'm going to take it all the way out to the side and back. So I'm going to try and do a full circle. And if you want to put your knee down, you certainly can. So I'm not necessarily retracting my scapula. I'm just moving my arm in a big circle. So knee down or knee up. 3, 2 more. Nice, and then we're going to come to a high lunge with the arms forward. So the arms are forward, and then we're going to bring the arms back as we hinge forward. Okay, so the arms come forward and pause, and then as we hinge back, the arms come back. So again, flexion and extension, and if you want to come all the way up, you can. And then press the palms up all the way back. Try to keep your spine long, couple more. And all the way back. Then just bring the hands straight down in front of you. Step to downward facing dog. We'll take the left leg up. And again, bottom of the glutes, top of the hamstrings, where I want you to focus your energy. And then just tap the toes. So do this with control. So we can get, again, this is hip mobility. So we're trying not to move the pelvis, just the thigh bone in the socket. So really basic move that we use a lot. We just want to make sure we can do this with proper hip stability. Then step your left leg forward, low lunge. Remember, you can put a block down and you can also put your knee down. So the arm comes forward, and it's okay to turn your torso to make that big circle. So the shoulder stays neutral, but the arm bone moves in the socket. 3. Really try to open that whole socket. 4. And then 1 more. Okay, so we're going to come up to a high lunge. Bring your arms forward. So again, it can be thumbs up, or if you want to go all the way up, you certainly can. But again, not a back bend, just straight up, hinge forward, and lift the arms back. And then reach the arms up, or just straight forward, hinge, move the arms back. Trying to really get some nice mobility in your shoulders. Some good tone in those triceps too. Okay, so one more time, arms, and then take it back. Plank to downward facing dog. Bring your shins down to the mat, swish around, and here's the second part of our vinyasa is either we're gonna lift up here to hold, or if you need to come up and down, you can, but we're doing kind of a reverse plank. So either bent knees or one or both legs straight. So this is working the back of the shoulders. 3. 2 more breaths. And then lower the hips down. Come up Navasana, so arms are forward. Sit nice and tall. And then cross your ankles, roll forward, downward facing dog. Breathe in and breathe out. Nice and slowly walk your feet to your hands, top of the mat. So we're going to come up. It's kind of the way we came down. So first, press your palms back behind you, as if someone's, again, drawing your wrists back, circle, sweep your arms up. Take a deep breath, inhale, and then lower the hands down. Take a deep breath in, turn the palms out, stand tall, we'll add on. So taking the arms up without moving your shoulders a whole lot, right? Just the arm bone moves. And then again, push out, back and away as you fold forward. Halfway lift, step back to plank, and again, the plank has the arms forward a little bit or a lot. without your hips coming up. So the trick is not to let the butt lift here. So holding for 5 breaths, front of the shoulder strengthening. Yep, good job, you guys. You can even go a tiny bit further if you're able. No pain though, so if you're having pain in the shoulders, you don't want to do that. Keep letting the collarbones lift away from the floor. Tailbone long for 3, for 2, and then come back to plank, downward facing dog. Okay, breathing in and breathing out. So here's an add-on if you want. So we're gonna lift the right leg, and if you want to, you can bring it forward a bit, so you get a little bit more hip flexion. So left leg up, or right leg up, bring it forward a bit. And so sometimes if I had blocks, if I had a couple, I could do this on blocks, and then this part gets a little bit easier because I'm a little bit higher. You only have 2 more. And then bring that right leg forward. Come back to that low lunge, this time 3 times. So 1, 2, 3. And then bring your arms forward, come up, bring that knee up, and then grab onto the knee. So pull the knee up, lift your chest, lengthen through your tailbone. So we're gonna flip the clasping of the hand. So as the foot presses out, the arm presses up. Try to keep that long spine. And now we're gonna sweep the leg back and come into a warrior 3. Palms forward, or you can unbind the hands if you'd like. Let's do it 4 more times. So I'm gonna bring the knee in, come up, press the arms up, warrior 3. Bring the knee in, try to work your balance. And you can go as slow as you want. Ooh, and then here's your last one. And then coming into a high lunge. Take the arms and reach up. And then you're going to take the arms down and back. Hold. So if someone's grabbing onto your wrist, lengthen through your head. And then just bring the arms straight down in front, downward facing dog. So if you wanted to use blocks and you have them, remember to get a little bit more hip flexion, you can use your hands on blocks. Otherwise, left leg up, and then try and bring it like an inch forward of your right toes. So you're in down dog, but you're using your core. So don't move your pelvis, you guys, just move your thigh bone. So it's core and hip flexors that's doing this. You're just doing 5. And on the 5th one, I'll step it forward. I'll come to my lunge 3 times. Big shoulder circles. And then I'll come into my high lunge. I'm going to grab onto my right knee and hug it in close. Then I'm going to press the right thigh out, arms reach up, and I'm going to hinge, warrior 3. And then I'm going to bring it right back in. I've got 4 more times. Knee in, extend up. So keep going. And if you need to go slower, you can. Yep. Really nice work, you guys. So we're working a lot of that hip flexion, extension. Nice, really nice balance. Good. It's okay to have an extra step in there too. So the last one, yeah. We'll come into that high lunge. And then the arms are gonna reach back as I hinge forward. Really reach the wrist back, lean forward, get a nice long body. And then the hands are gonna come down. Plank pose to downward dog. And then just drop to your knees, swing the legs forward. If you can go both feet flat, then that's what you'll do. My fingers can face forward or out to the side, or I'll straighten one leg, then the other, or straighten 2 legs. And then when you're ready, lift up. 5 breaths. It's the same thing as doing plank, so your tailbone still lengthens, And again, you're pressing from your back shoulders into your palms. So now we're strengthening the back of the shoulder. Last 2 breaths. Good, and then hips come down. Bring the arms forward. You can straighten the legs as much or as little as you want. And then cross the ankles, roll forward or sweep the legs around. Downward facing dog. Take some deep breaths. And then nice and slowly walk your feet to your hands. So again, coming up a reverse way, the arms are going to reach up behind me, so an extension. As if someone's grabbing my wrist, press to your heels and reach your arms up. Yeah, good. And then hands down. Okay, so if you have a block, does everybody have one block or a book you could stand on? If you do, you're going to turn it the diagonal. So instead of having it like this, turn it on the diagonal so you have a diagonal line to stand on. And we're going to put that for our right leg. So I'm going to stand up on this. And this is going to require my right hip to really strengthen. So try not to let the right hip sag to the side. Stand up really tall. Let that left ankle get heavy and root through that right inner thigh line. And for a moment, just release the psoas by just letting that ankle get really heavy. Take a moment, just let that leg just move, the hip stays steady. So you might even hold your hip so that your hip isn't doing cat-cow, your hip is steady. And we're just letting the ankle feel like it weighs like another 20 pounds. So the leg is really like a limp noodle. Okay. So now as we're ready, you're going to bring the arms forward and you're going to sit into a front squat. So the right knee bends, the left leg comes forward. Come right out of it. Bring the arms as far forward as you want. Come out of it. So I'm hinging at the hips and I'm weighting the right heel. 3, 4, one more. Sink back. And now I'm going to move that left leg back as I move my hands back. And I'm going to come into warrior 3 like I was doing in that lunge. And then come right back to standing, and you have 4 more times. Bring the arms back, hip hinge. So move those arms back. I know you're feeling your ankle. 2 more. Arms back. Step on back, so you're back kind of where you were. And then bring the hands down, knee down. Okay? So you're in that lunge, and then come upright. The arms are going to reach up. You're going to press up, out, and away to bring them back. Arms reach up. Press out and away to bring the arms back. 3 more. I hear a lot of snap, crackle, pop when I do it. 1 more. And then just bring the hands down for a deeper lunge. So I back my knee up and I just kind of release my hips forward. You can straddle the foot, you can bring your hands inside your thigh. It's a very deep lunge. Okay, 1 more little bit for this. So bring your hands to your hips, or you can bring them forward. Tuck your back toes under, lift your back knee, and come into that high lunge. Bring the arms back, go low. Bring the arms up. 4 times. Down low, up high, down low, up high, like a little swing. 1 more. And a big step forward and off your block. Shake it out. Shake, shake, shake. Rachel, I realize as this is unfolding, you're probably like, what the heck, my butt? Shake it out. Okay. Let's come back to the left leg now. So your left leg is on that block. And again, the trick is not to let the left hip escape, but to kind of tuck it in by rooting through your left inner thigh. Your right leg is like a limp noodle. So as I put my hands at my hips should not be tilting. My hips stay solid, and my right leg just swings a little bit. And this is just releasing the front of the hip. So imagine you have like those Jane Fonda ankle weights on. And that's letting the leg lengthen a good bit. Okay, come to a stillness. And as you sink back, you can be very shallow, lift the right leg, bring the arms forward, come back. 4 more times. One more. And now as you're ready, take a deep breath and the arms reach back and you hip hinge. And then I come right back in. And if you want to, you can bend the knee for this and hip hinge. If that helps you get into your hip a little bit more. Okay, you have 3 more. Remember, lead with those arms, if those triceps get nice and strong. Arms back. One more time. And on this one, we're gonna land the right toes and then land the hands, bring the knee to the floor, okay? So you're gonna come up to that lunge. If you need to adjust your block, do that. The arms come up and it's up and it's back and away. Arms go up, they go back and away. So make it like a big circle like we did in those lunges. Just a little bit different. One more. And then just enjoy your lunge. So I'm bringing my hands inside my block and just letting my hips release. So it will be a tighter stretch on the front thigh, but a deeper stretch on the back. Okay, go ahead. Set it up so you can get into a lunge. So my foot's gonna be on the block, my back toes are gonna tuck, and I'm gonna come in, and I'm gonna drop down. Use your arms to kind of a little bit of momentum to kind of propel you up. So you're just kind of swinging the arms. One more. Up. And then step forward and down. Yeah, great job, you guys. Shake it out. Okay, you can move your block. Thank God, right? Okay. Side of the mat or top of your mat, release your arms down. Feel the wrists drawing the shoulder blades down away from your ears. Arms are gonna reach up. Press out and away as you trace the back of your thighs and release all the way down. Take a long spine, inhale. Fold on your exhale and step back to that arms forward plank, 5 breaths. Walk your hands back in. This time set your knees down. Child's pose with your arms back. So your arms are going to walk back towards your toes. Palms facing up. Bring them to the small of your back and let your elbows hang heavy. Bring your arms back down to the floor. Palms face up. And then kind of dripping your fingertips, bring your palms forward and rest back. And then slide up and then slide onto your seat for a reverse plank. One more time. So palms down, lift your chest. You can either keep both feet flat and lift, or you can straighten one or both of your legs. Just be alternating each time. And then let the hips come down. Navasana, so it's a long spine, arms come up. For 3, for 2, cross the ankles, come forward, however you need to. We'll meet in downward facing dog. Take some nice deep breaths. Let your head shake out, release any tension in your neck. Walk your feet nice and slowly forward to the top of your mat. Then bend the knees as much as you need to. The arms are going to reach up and back without rounding your shoulders. So have you broaden your collarbones and let the chest unround. Then as someone's like grabbing your wrist, reach your arms back, out to the side, and then up. And then straight down towards your hips. So this next one is, I want you to kind of imagine your arms swinging. So really kind of weightless so that you can shake out tension in the shoulders. So that's what the arms are doing, is this. And then you're gonna go toes, heels, toes, heels. So you'll feel glutes, quads, and just kind of shake it out. And just imagine your wrists getting nice and heavy so that just like we did our leg where it was on the block, we started to feel as we did this so that we could like shake out the day, anything we don't want to settle on the shoulders. So anything you're shouldering that you're like, I don't really think I want that to settle into my body, shake it out for 3, for 2, and stand tall. And then just kind of feel your body after moving. Kind of notice the rippling of the movement. Okay, we're gonna kind of put it all together for a little bit of flow. We're just gonna keep moving through it, just to kind of, again, move through these flexion, extension in the hips and in the shoulders. So when you're ready, the arms reach forward. Try not to move the shoulder blades forward or back, just reaching up. And as you're ready, bring the arms back, trace the back of your thighs and fold forward. Come to a long spine, inhale. Bring your hands to your heart. So if you can have your arms forward, maybe it's bent arms because that's gonna be more supportive than straight arms. But if you can go straight arms, go ahead. Right leg is your base, left leg back. And we're gonna bend the right knee. We're gonna come up to a high lunge. And we're gonna hinge forward, and then the arms are gonna come back. Take a deep breath, and then come back into warrior 3. This time the arms are back behind you. Take another deep breath, and then the left leg's gonna join the right, come into a squat. So I'm in a long spine, but my arms are back, and I lift the heels. So putting that shape together. Take another deep breath, and then fold forward. Nice deep breath, halfway lift, stretch long. Step your left leg back, go into the low lunge. So this time we're gonna go knee down, left arm over to the left, and then again, those circles 5 times again. Big circles, 4. This time, let's go open up to a twist. So the arms just comes out to the side, just opening up the chest. And then taking the arms back down to the floor, coming into all fours, walk the hands forward and sit back towards extended puppy dog. So your forehead comes to the mat, hips back. Keep your spine long. Slowly coming up, walking your hands back underneath you. Keep your right leg as your base, take the left leg. Take your right arm back. Balance for 3, for 2. Now can you switch it really slow? So at like the same time that you press, you can release. And then bring it down nice and slow, downward facing dog. Deep breath in, deep breath out. When you're ready, bend those knees, hop or step forward, top of your mat. Arms reach back, broaden across your chest, reach up and to the sky, arms down. Full breath in, full breath out. And then last time on the left, arms reach up. And then press them back and away, trace the back of your thighs, fold forward. Come to a halfway lift and decide if it's okay to take your arms like a goalpost or directly forward, you decide. And then that right leg sweeps back. Go ahead and take it all the way back, high lunge. Take the arms up. And then come with the arms back again, just like we've been practicing. Come back into the left leg, warrior three. Bend the left knee, bring the right leg to join it. Wrist draw back, spine is long. And then we forward fold all the way down. A moment to breathe in and breathe out. The right leg is going to step back. We're going to put the knee down. The right arm is going to go over to the right. Then 5 times those big circles. Kind of moving towards a twist this time. And then the last one, you can open up to that twist, kind of opening up the chest. And then bringing the hands down, come to all fours. Extended puppy dog. So the arms walk forward and you come to palms, up to fingertips so you can flatten your palms. Rest your head on a block or the earth. Pull up with the ribs. So let the outer border of your shoulder wrap down. It tends to want to pull up. See if you can wrap it down so that you hollow a little bit more through your armpit. And then lifting from your core, walk your hands back in. We're going to balance on the left first. And then to see if you can go right, and now we're going to go left and left. Left knee down, left arm. And then really slow, switch it out. And then this time, both knees down. And then again, back of the hands come to the small of your back, release. And then just release your hands down by your toes. It's okay to round the shoulder blades this time. And then when we're ready, we'll come all the way up to all fours, downward facing dog. Nice deep breaths here. Let that be your kind of recycling. Let the breath kind of reset. Come forward, plank pose, and then all the way down to your belly. So we're going to do 3 rounds of cobra, not cobra, locust pose, putting it all together so the legs lift, the arms lift. There is retraction in the scapula. I know we haven't been doing that. So we're going to build this out. The first time the toes and the legs stay down, pubic bone down, belly lifts, lift the upper half, lift the arms. Draw those wrists back, stay for 5. Long through your spine, belly back. Rest your right cheek on the mat, relax. Now we're going to do just the legs. So you want to put your forehead down if that works, or just hover it to the tip of your nose. Lift the legs, lift the arms. There's no upper half, just triceps and legs for 3. For 2, reach those wrists back, all the way down, left cheek to the mat. Let's put it all together one more time. Arms and legs lift. Draw your wrists down towards your toes. Lift your arms as high as you can without rounding your shoulders forward. 3, 2, all the way down. Nice deep breath. Slowly pressing yourself up and coming to a seat. Nice work, you guys. Legs are going to come forward. So we're just working flexion and extension. We're not doing outer hips. We'll do that. Probably on Saturday as we get abduction and adduction. So if you're wondering why we're not doing that, we're just staying really focused on that theme of balance. So for this, you can either sit on a blanket or you can kind of move the outer seams of your hamstrings wide, just so you get a slight internal rotation and just a slight pelvic tilt. And it's just slight, right? So I can sit up if my hip flexors feel tall. I can also bend the knees. So the arms are gonna reach up, and I'm gonna hinge forward. I can grab onto the tops of the feet. I can grab big toes, or I can use a strap. So take a moment, come to a halfway lift, and draw your spine a little longer. Belly comes in, and then fold forward, head relaxes. So you might use your biceps to get a little deeper stretch. You might not. You might just fold. And you can always just have your hands too, just on the sides of your thighs or back behind you. That works too. Feeling a lengthening happening through the inner seams of your legs, through your inner ankles. Feeling lengthen the lumbar, relax the neck. Take another deep breath. And then slowly coming up. Sitting up nice and tall, or you can cross your ankles if you need to sit a little differently, if that's better for your body. A little bit of a tricep stretch. Take your right arm up, bicep to ear, bend the right arm. And as you move that kind of arm back, try not to throw the chest back. So keeping the front ribs tucked down and in, just feeling that stretch of the tricep. You can be doing this sitting tall, or you can have crossed legs. Let that go. Roll the shoulders a couple times, and we'll go left arm up, bend at the elbow, a little bit of tricep stretch on the left. Again, you can have crossed ankles, because sometimes it doesn't feel good to have straight legs for that one. And then release that out. We're going to come onto our back. Hopefully you have a block to lie on your back with. So we're going to go ahead and come into a bridge pose with the block at the lowest setting or the medium setting. I would recommend the highest setting for this, something that allows your hips to be an extension. Some people can go ahead and straighten the right leg out, and this is okay. For me, on that medium setting, it just bothers my low back, so I'm going to put it lower, and then just go ahead and slowly start to take that right leg out forward. So I get a nice opening for the right frontal hip. And I'm going to take my right arm up and back behind me. So I'm going to try my best not to allow the chest to move. So I'm going to keep my shoulders and chest still as I reach the right arm back. And with my left hand, I can either have it right here at my pelvis just to kind of breathe and calm in this right frontal hip. Or I can have it down by my left hip. Now, without actually moving your body physically, can you create more space from your right fingertips to your right toes? Like if you were just to relax, could you let the breath invite in more space from right toes to right fingers? Like, could there just be a releasing of energy that did that? Not you straining or trying to do it with your physical body. Just check it out. One more deep breath. First, bring the right arm down by your right hip, and then drag the right heel back to engage your hamstring a bit. And then just kind of notice the difference between two sides, maybe just even putting your hands at your hips and noticing if you feel anything. And then go ahead and let that left heel release forward without changing the hip position. So once again, we don't want the hips to tilt towards your toes. We want to keep that hip nice and neutral. Left arm goes up, and nice and slowly I keep the arm straight as I reach it back. And maybe my hands at the low belly to remind me to breathe into my low belly. And then I'm trying my best to create as much space as I can from left toes to left fingertips without using my muscles to do that. So without like actively stretching, how do I let the breath, how do I move it with my inner body? So go and bring the left arm back towards your hips and then drag the left heel in. And then just for a moment, just stay in the supported bridge and feel that out. If for a moment or two you'd like to lift one or both legs up, just to kind of let the fluid from the legs drain back into the hips, feel free to do that. Take your time. Yeah, nice work, you guys. And then really just letting the body settle. Now you've shaken off that which you didn't want to let settle. And then bringing your feet down nice and slowly, one at a time. Letting the feet land before you pick the block up and remove it. We'll do one final twist. So I would use a strap if you had it. If you don't have a strap handy, you can just bend the knees or not use it. But I do like it for this one. So I'm gonna lasso my feet like I was in a forward fold. So I'm gonna use the lasso in my right hand, and I'm going to move the hips over to the left and then drop my legs towards the right. And I kind of just hold the strap just enough to keep the legs up. And then I'm going to open through the left chest. And so it's a nice little release from your low back, your outer hips. You can always just do this with bent knees. If you don't have a strap or if that's too intense, then go ahead and do that with without it. So the closer your toes are closer to your chest or your belly, generally the more the hips you're going to feel. So just you can play around with that. Nice deep breaths as you release through the spine and integrate all that plane of movement that we did, since we did so much of the same plane. Hip flexion, hip extension, shoulder flexion, shoulder extension. Okay, bring the legs up, use your core. And then again, you'll have to scoot your hips over to the right to drop them to the left. And then just letting the legs settle, opening up to the opposite chest. There you go. Settle in. Maybe a couple sighs. Okay, slowly bringing your legs back up. Then removing the strap. If there's any final shapes, go ahead. Otherwise, head on onto your back. Or stay on your back, I should say. Release your arms and your legs. And allow yourself to take the first few breaths to just kind of breathe and sense and feel your body after all that movement. Feel for the ways in which you might have played with more mobility, more strengthening in your shoulder and your hip joints. Doing a little bit of directed breath work. Decide if you think you would rather bring your energy up your right or your left foot. The right side might be a little bit more invigorating, and the left side might be a little bit more calming. So taking a deep breath and imagining that inhale coming in through either of your feet, all the way up that whole side of your body, resting at the center of your brain. And on the exhale, taking it down the opposite side, from the center of your brain, down that whole opposite side, all the way out through your foot. And then just do that for a few rounds, like maybe 4 more rounds. And if you've chosen a side and after you did that, it didn't feel quite right, you can either alternate or you can try the other side. And usually we have one side that will feel good for the moment. So it could change. Like really using your imagery to bring that breath all the way up, pausing for a moment at the top of your inhale, at the top of the brain, center of the brain, and then down the opposite side. Imagining this to be like a cleansing rejuvenation of your energy from the earth. If you finish like your 4th or 5th round, just take a moment, pause, just breathe normally, and just notice how you feel. Nice. Then moving your awareness to your brain, we're going to breathe in like in a V shape. So you're going to breathe in as if the breath would kind of come in through your ears on both sides and settle into the center of your brain. And on the breath out, it's going to come right back out, but it kind of expands as it goes out to kind of bringing in that luminosity and kind of extending that luminosity back out and through. And do that for about 4 more cycles, breathing into the center of your brain as if like it's a luminous light. And on the exhale, it kind of dilates so that every corner of your brain receives a little bit of that luminosity as you spread it. This is like insightful energy, new perspectives, inspiration, like a rejuvenation for your mind. And try 1 more cycle. And then just let that go and then just feel it out. Then finding the center of your brain and finding the center of your heart and taking a couple moments to just bridge those 2 centers. On the in-breath, repeating the mantra so. On the out-breath, hum. 4 more times, so on the in-breath, merging heart and mind, hum. I am that. I am that infinite space, that potential, that wisdom. One more. And then just deciding if you want to stay on your back and continue receiving, or if you'd like to start to wiggle your fingers and toes and roll to the side. And then nice and slowly rolling to your side, letting your head be heavy as you press up. And then allowing yourself to bring your hands together, rub your hands together. And then let the thumbs touch the heart as if that buzzing of the hands can now connect to the heart so that your hands are an extension of your heart and what we touch and how we express. Take a deep breath in. Deep breath out. I am that. You are that. The light in me honors and celebrates the light in you. Namaste. Bring your thumbs up to your third eye.